Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to be doing some woodworking. You're going to see something that you've never seen before on YouTube and you'll never see again. What do we got here? We got the Moultrie all-in-one timer here, and you got an idea what I'm doing. I'm going to make one of these corn barrel feeders. We're going to fire it up into another tree, but it's completely different. Not even close to what I did before. I'm going back to basics. I'm going to build something here that anybody can build. I'm going to show you what I got going on, and we're going to get to it right now. Well, we're going to start off right here. We got two 1x10 pine, 8 feet long, 2x4, 8 feet long, two 2x6s, 8 feet long. It's $35 worth of lumber, and this is what we're going to do with it. Okay, that's the job today. We're going to fire all that wood onto that chop saw. I'm going to chop all that up into lengths, and I'm going to show you exactly how this thing's going together, and it's going up a tree. Okay, so I got my boards all set up here. I doubled them up. This is the 1x10 pine. This is just pine shelving. And yeah, a 1x10 now is 3/4 of an inch wide by 9 1/4. So it seems to be going downhill from here, guys. Okay, so all I did was, I'm thinking you need 4 pieces to a square, right? Okay, so I'm going to cut off two 32-inch pieces and have some left over for the ends. But all I did was just take a scribe here and just mark out 32 inches. So I'm going to make 2 cuts, and off we go. So let's cut this, and I'll show you next what's going to happen when I arrange the box. Well, let's take a look at the setup. So I've got my epoxy ready here. This is the construction adhesive. I got my screw gun here ready to go. And these are the screws that I really prefer because they give a lot of clamping force down. And all I've done is marked out all the way along where they should go. And of course I got to do this panel here as well. Haven't drilled that out yet. That's going to be for the other side. But if we just take this off for a second here, and you can see where I've actually drilled holes all the way through, because you know what, for sure you are going to split this wood if you try and just drive them in there with pine. So I'll put the top on here, put the construction adhesive on, and let's start fastening this down. Okay, what I like to do when I put my construction adhesive on is try to put like a nice thin layer. But you know what? I'm not too good at putting these thin layers on because I always seem to have too much. But on this particular project, you know what? Nobody's going to see it, and it's going to be way out in the bush. So all I'm going to do is put this one layer on, and then what I'm going to do is only screw down the 1/2 first. This will just be a support. So let's do that and line it all up and screw it all down. So we'll just take our piece here and try to line it up the best you can, right? And because you have the holes already pre-drilled, a lot of times they will find their own spots. There, I just find the holes first. There we go. There. Okay, so I'll show you on this side here how good of a clamping force them kind of screws are compared to trying to use like a deck screw. Deck screw, completely useless, loosens up over time, especially as it countersinks in and the wood actually contracts over time. This one here doesn't do that. Let's take a look. Okay, so here's the other 3 that I'm just going to put in. You see how that actually really binds in there nice? Look at that, guys. Now that makes a huge difference in clamping force. I'm just going to take my putty knife and just scrape that away, and then I'll do the other side. Well, here we are right here. The box is all completed, all the 4 sides. I got these 2 pieces over here for the bottom and the top. And we ended up with, say, 7 3/4 by 9 1/4. So let's cut a piece out that's going to go in the bottom here. And the timer is going to fit it right in here. So let's do that next. Okay, since the material is the same thickness as the box on one side, I only have to cut 1 piece. So let's get to that right now. Okay, so what we're going to do next is I have to put some kind of a marking on the inside here. So I just like to use just an old piece of stock that I have, you know, just aluminum angle, and I'll put it in there and just put a mark. And of course I'll do all the way around. And you know, this is such an easy thing to do. And what it's going to do, it's going to show me where my board is going to sit in the bottom here. And then I can pre-drill some holes to go through. And I'll know the difference between here and here is 3/4 of an inch. And that will be, for sure I'll know that I'm going to actually hit the board right. So let's get to that next. Well, if we take a look at the bottom of this timer, you can see the size of the hole there, and it's going to match right in here. So this is roughly the same size. So let's drill this out now, and a lot easier than doing it after. Whew, she's smoking hot. Almost through. Okay, one more try. There we go. So that was a lot easier to do now than it is when it's installed. So let's install it right now. Well, I thought I'd show you me just putting in one of these studs, because you got to match the holes up so this will fit on. And I might as well do everything right now before I actually mount this to the bottom of the box. And these are quite easy to install. Let's take a look. There. You just take the 2 nuts off, and this will fit on here perfectly. And I like to use wing nuts so I can take this off every time, so I don't have to bring tools back in the bush with me. So now let's go to the box. Okay, so I'll just show you here. You have to actually make sure that you put your adhesive on the far side of your line, because when you push your panel in, you don't want to cover up your line marks, right? Okay, so let's push that panel in right now. Well, you can definitely see what's going on here now. And of course, it's good to have the hole there, so you got something to hold on to move this in and out, right? So you just put it in here and just push it in until you see your marks. And try to make it as even as possible. You could get the idea here. Just keep pushing it in until you see your marks. And I can see the bottom one there is lined up. And there's the top. And that's pretty much it right there. So we'll just screw it in and lock her down. There, you can see the sealant coming up there, and I'll just grab the one on the bottom. There we go. That is not going to go nowhere. But what I am going to do is I am going to run a bead of that construction adhesive all the way around here. Well, here's where we're at so far. I've got one leg ready to go here. This one here is already built and it's going to fit right in here. I got the hole here, I got the hole here, and I'm going to put a carriage bolt in here, and we're going to throw in a couple of screws with some construction adhesive here, and it's going to fit right over top of here. And I know you're wondering, okay, did he allow for that? There we go, right there. Okay, let's put this together and see how easy it goes. Okay, you ready? First thing we're going to do is put some of this adhesive on, and this construction adhesive will work just great. You don't got to go crazy with it, but that should do it right about there. Okay, now I'm not going to fire in these two screws first. I got to get that carriage bolt in first, or everything might just be off. So I'll try and line this up. That's why you got to have lots of marks on everything. You got to line everything up first. And if you don't have the marks, man, you're going to have a messy job, that's for sure. And just getting this to line up is not going to be easy, I'll tell you that right now. Okay. It's going in, but it seems like I got to thread it in to get it to go. There we go. Okay, I'll put this on. I'll put this on right here. Now that I know that that's in the hole properly, I can just line up my marks. And you see I had the marks all here. So it's just a matter of driving in a couple of screws. There we go. And then we'll just fire this one in. Now that is it right there. So I'll bring you back when I do the other side, and you can see how easy this was just to fab up, and it didn't take a lot of time either. So I'll bring you back when the other side's done, and we'll start working on the top. Okay, so this is the deal right here. There's the box so far, and I just made this little frame that just kind of fits snug over top. And I've got some boards. I'll show you the boards here. And these two boards are going to fit right on top of there, and I'm going to screw them down. So I'll screw them down now, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, there's the setup right there. And guys, I'm just going to fire this on. I put this panel on, lots of adhesive, and I am just going to place that in there like this. And I'm not worried about no water going through here, because you know what, it's got that adhesive in there. And of course I pre-drilled the holes already, so they should just kind of line up. And you could feel when they get in there. Well, there it is upside down, and I'll just show you my idea of attaching it on the bottom. Yeah, I like to use the wing nuts here, so you can always take it off anytime you want and remove it. And I am going to treat this somewhat, and let's turn it the right side up and let's see how the cap fits. Okay, here's the cap right here. Like it just barely, it's nice and snug and snaps right on. And on both sides here I added a couple of clasps, and I'm going to take a chain and bring it up here like this to lift it off. And if you guys can remember all the other ones that I built, I'll put a link down below of the ones that I built before, and you guys take a look and see. This is a huge difference. This is going to be all out of wood. The only thing is, like, I'm going to have a chain coming up here. Now, if you're wondering, what about the rest of this? Well, in the beginning, I showed you two 2x8s, 8 feet long. And that's going to be shown when I actually put this up into a tree. And I think it's quite ingenious. I think it's a better idea than I had before with welding a frame and everything else. I learned a lot from just leverage and how you could actually bend a steel bar that easily. I had no idea. But the next one is going to be all out of wood, using them 2x6, 8 feet long, and it's going to be much better build. I hope you like this idea here. It's going to be interesting. I'm not too sure who I'm going to have up at the camp to fire this up a tree, and but it's going to be a lot better than before. Now, there's one thing I want to do is I want to explain why I went with this particular size. The way I measured it in cubic feet is going to be a little bit less than a bushel, and one 50-pound bag of corn is a bushel, which is about what I figure this is going to be. This is going to be a little bit smaller, but we'll see, and it's going to be interesting putting this up into a tree. If you guys have never seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe, and I build all kinds of stuff like this, and I don't know why. You guys come back again now. Cheers.